Boom. And we are live with another episode of the Brown Water Banter podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
That's right. And we got a good show lined up for you. Kind of did it spur of the moment. Krewe of Neptune's in the house. They're going to be talking about the hurricane. Help me say it. Helene. Was I saying right?
Hurricane Helene relief.
Helene relief. Yeah. They're going to be, we're going to get into it. But we're bringing supplies up to the people who need it, man, because if you're from the Mississippi Gulf Coast or you live down here long enough, you know what a bad hurricane can be like. And if you're waiting on the federal government to come help you,
good luck.
Pissing into the wind. But before we jump into that, we want to thank the people that keep the lights on for us over here at the Brown Water Studio right out of the gate. There it went. Oh, did I click it again? All right, got it. Dr. Robbie Williams over at Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. It is 2024, which is the year to smile more. So if you're ready to get those pearly whites shined up, cleaning, and looking good, book a consultation with him. He's a local dentist right here. He's on Washington Avenue right here in Ocean Springs, and you can give him a shout. Book that consultation at 228-215-1202 and tell him that Brown Water sent you. Taylor and Cox Law Firm, man. If you find yourself in need of legal representation for any reason, they specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUIs, family law, divorce, child custody, you name it. This is Tyler right here. You can give them a shout at 228-696-0111. They've been practicing law on the Gulf Coast for 30 plus years. They come highly recommended, man. Tyler's got signs popping up all over the interstate and on Washington Avenue. So he's doing big things. Yeah, he's trying to make some moves. I like it. I think he just hired some new people too. We got to get him back on the show and talk about it. But that's Taylor and Cox Law Firm, man. Check them out. And bringing up the rear, man, we slimmed down the sponsorship, Joey. So you're going to have to really, really go fast over there. Ain't no shot. You're going to do it. That's okay. Forever Young Men and Women's Health, man. Look them up on Facebook as well. This is Kendrick right here. It's, well, I've been saying it all year long, but it's October now. So you definitely missed your New Year's resolution if you haven't got back in the gym and started working out yet, but you could get ahead of the 25 New Year's resolution if you start working out now. Go to Forever Young Men and Women's Health. Give them a shout at 228-363-6623. They can do some lab work on you, man. They can see if you're vitamin deficient or testosterone deficient. He specializes in testosterone replacement for both men and women. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to get your health back under control, give them a shout. Like I said, tell them that Brown Water sent you. So yeah, Joey, no shot.
Speaking of testosterone, do you know who we have sitting across from us?
No, I do not know.
The infamous Billy Moore.
Infamous. Okay.
Infamous, yeah.
What's he talking about?
He was the strongest man in Mississippi. What year was that?
Oh man, depends on which weight class you're talking about.
Yeah. 114.
I mean, I'm not even close to that weight class now. So let's not even bring that up. 114 and 123.
Dang,
he's 98 and 99 accordingly.
I don't remember that. Yeah. Good for you. Way to go.
How do you not remember?
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. No offense, but yeah, I don't remember that.
Better be glad Wayne Rodolph didn't listen.
That's right.
He
will.
He used to be all over. I don't know what happened. He moved out of town. He ain't been watching us. He was on LinkedIn watching us all the time. But no, gentlemen, first of all, thank you for being here this evening. Let's go around the table, introduce yourselves and your affiliation with the Krewe of Neptune, and then we'll get into what we're doing.
I'm Billy Moore. I'm one of the officers in the Krewe of Neptune.
Okay.
Larry Richardson. I'm the president of the Trident Foundation and a member of Neptune.
Okay.
And I am Daniel D'Amico, an officer at Krewe of Neptune.
All right, guys. And we just came off of a couple weeks ago the barbecue competition, which was a damn good time, man. Yeah, we had a blast doing that, hanging out. I don't want to brag or anything, but I would. I mean, what does that say? Smoking the Coast 2024 Bloody Mary champ. So,
yes, sir.
I don't know if y'all have one of those, but we do. So
you got to be good at it. I mean, you might as well be good at Bloody Mary.
Hey, if you're gonna enter one thing, you got to win it.
That's right. We narrowed it down, and we focused on one thing. We put a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, and by that I mean about
33 seconds.
We did, though. We've been joking about that a lot. We did do like a 2 to 3 different testers. You know what I mean? We were like, nah, this needs a little more of that. So we did try. So I'm not gonna say we didn't. But no. So thanks for being here this evening. So let's talk about it. Krewe of Neptune. If you've been living under a rock, you don't know the Krewe of Neptune, man. Great Mardi Gras organization. Good excuse to have fun and party during Mardi Gras, but also has the nonprofit, the Trident Foundation, that does a lot of good things for the community, raises money, does a lot of great things. So how did we decide to pick this topic and help? Like, what's the backstory there?
I think it's one of those things, I've been in Neptune for a good many years now. And I think it's one of those things that, as a board and also the members of the Krewe of Neptune, along with the Trident Foundation, it's been one of those core beliefs that I think everybody, kind of had in common that, specifically natural disasters like hurricanes, that, it's one of those things that everybody always believed in, that we owed that back to communities, especially here in the Southeast,
Yeah.
and of course, a lot of that stems from people's experience with Hurricane Katrina.
Mhm.
I think, the Krewe of Neptune, had a few years there where after Katrina, Hurricane Katrina kind of put a damper on all Mardi Gras. But when we came back, it came back strong. And I think, most of the members, remember just how bad it was, for not only them, but their families and friends after Hurricane Katrina. So I think everybody takes it real personal.
Yeah.
That when people are hurting, that we really try to relieve some of that stress and suffering off those people.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize that unless you see that type of destruction, you don't realize what that you see it on TV and be like, oh, that ain't that bad. But when you look at houses that are just completely gutted, no places to live, no power for 2 weeks, nothing like that.
Or longer.
Yeah, that changes your whole view.
Yeah, you
on
have to
things.
live it. Not
Yeah.
like you said, not seeing it on TV. That doesn't do it any justice.
It
And
sucks. I don't ever want to do it again.
Not at all.
Your
absolutely.
perspective will change when you see people that you roll into a place and they literally may have not had a hot meal in 3 weeks.
Right. Right. Or like when I remember like, especially like during COVID, people are talking about, oh, it's so you can't do it. I'm like, dude, we went through Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Like I remember what that was like. Money didn't matter because there was nowhere to spend it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it does you absolutely no good.
No good.
You can have as much money you want in the bank if you can't get it out the damn ATM.
That's right.
Or if it was in your hand,
Yeah.
there was literally no businesses around here that were open. Most of them
Or have power
didn't
to do
exist.
this. Yeah.
Right. Or have power. Yeah. Now you could have driven over a state or two, but even that
Sure.
was hard to do. There was checkpoints all over the place. There were trees
Fuel.
down, power,
True.
couldn't get fuel. Exactly. So it's kind of, you think we'd be better prepared, like be like a prepper or something. But when you live through that, like it really does open your eyes. So like when COVID hit, it was different in a lot of different ways, but it was somewhat the same. I
Some
feel like we
similarities.
weren't quite as shocked by it.
Yeah. No matter what you say about the COVID, you always had power and water in your house.
Right.
I mean, it's simple. Right here, I lived right here in Van Cleve when, St. Martin, Van Cleve area. And I lost 6 shingles off my house. So no big deal. Didn't have power for 5.5 weeks.
Right. Right.
So
And that's in
but
the
guess
middle
what?
of August in a Mississippi summer.
Right.
If you've
Right.
never experienced that,
You don't
But
want-
here's
you
the
need to
thing.
do
That's a
it.
different level of suffering.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And we all on well water out there at that time.
Mhm.
So what you didn't have water or power.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Right, my house is fine. And if anybody need a place to come stay, you stay dry.
Right.
But I couldn't keep you cool and I didn't have any damn water.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that that are fairly basic. We somewhat take for granted. It's one of those things. I think you're without power and water 3 or 4 days, you can make do. After about a week, 10 days, the reality starts to set in that
This
I really don't know if this is going to get any better anytime soon. And the answer for a lot of those people that it's really not going to get better anytime soon.
No. And in today's fast news cycle that we live in, it almost seems like that was months ago when it really was just a couple weeks ago.
correct.
And no one's, really, especially I wouldn't think outside of the Southeast
Right.
states or is even probably talking about it or thinking about it as much as you should.
Yeah, I think there's a few, there's a few companies around, that people really have a good foundation in their organizations and companies. I saw on Facebook, a company out of like the Midwest, I think it was Wyoming, they make like these steel cookers and they're just like these little kind of primitive burner type situations, and I think they made like 80 of them.
Right.
They had the welders going, they made like 80 of them. And then a company volunteered to ship them. Hey, we'll come pick them up.
Yeah.
And they brought them to, I think, Asheville or one of the towns right north of there. So at least people can cook. If they have some food, they can cook a meal.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
they can, you can run it off wood, of course,
Right.
like a little wood stove type thing. So I think there's people out there that want to help. I think, logistically, for some people, it gets kind of complicated.
Mhm.
Yeah. This hurricane was a little different because you usually think coastal flooding,
Right.
storm surge, stuff like that. It hit Florida in kind of a wildlife, pretty much. It went over a bunch of marsh. When it got to North Carolina, the rains, it dropped ungodly amount of rains. Well, it was
but it's like, I don't want to speak the
Yeah.
wrong
somebody
number.
said
It's
like billions of gallons of water. Yeah.
And it basically it sounded like it all ran down the mountains and of course into the streams and rivers. But then you had that that flow that was pushing in from the East Coast that was pushing back west. So the said rivers couldn't drain.
Right.
So they were just all backed up and they just flooded everything,
And,
which is catastrophic.
my parents live in Eastern Tennessee, and they had already been inundated with rain
Right.
prior to that
Yeah.
storm coming
Okay.
through there. And like you said, people in the mountains don't expect to deal with a
No,
hurricane.
no,
They
absolutely
just
not.
Florida's prepped for it.
Right.
Western North Carolina is
They
not.
have no idea.
And that kind of volume of precipitation,
It's
tropical
just-
moisture. Is
Well,
just,
who think? Yeah, and exactly. Who thinks 5,000 feet above sea level is going to
Right.
flood?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's be honest.
They get
Yeah.
rain, but they don't get tropical
yeah,
moisture.
that's true.
Asheville is
Tropical moisture.
beautiful. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
beautiful. Mountains, kind of like Gatlinburg, and the pictures I saw after.
There's
I mean,
nothing
just
Yeah.
going total
It's
destruction.
true.
Yeah, I think like their water system there, I think their water system and the towns of Asheville right there and within city limits was
Madison and
just
all that, yeah.
was just kind of just completely destroyed,
Yeah.
washed out like their piping systems and just all kinds of bad stuff.
Billy, we were talking before we came on the podcast today. He spoke to some of the county members up there, and they're starting to get water in Asheville,
Mm-hmm.
but how much bacteria and stuff's in that water?
Oh,
So they got to
yeah,
turn
yeah.
them on, shut them off, turn them
Yeah,
on,
they're-
shut them off, figure out where they at, the balances
Yeah.
before they start. You got
Leaving hydrants running.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna have boil water advisories for
Yeah.
Lord knows how long. So
For
I
like
mean,
a month.
yeah. So you may have water, but you're gonna have standards on everything you
Yeah,
do
you
at the
gotta
same
say
time.
Can you kick that in just a little bit? It's kind of picking up. Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
But that reminds me of the Anheuser-Busch water cans. Y'all remember that? during
yeah,
Katrina?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was a lot of those drank at that time back then because, like you said, I mean, 3 days you got about without water, and then it's a problem. And if you don't have good clean water, food don't matter.
Yeah.
You got to drink
You're
first.
right.
You go die.
Yeah, you gonna die.
And the other thing is getting to them. Because down here we have a bunch of main arteries and back roads that we can
We
get
do.
to.
Right.
But in the mountains,
Yeah.
you don't have that many.
It's
You got
usually
one way in and one way out, and they were
Yeah,
pretty much
man.
shut down for weeks.
Yeah, I think like I-40 just, just west of, between probably Knoxville and Asheville area, I think it's going to be closed for, sometimes late next year,
next
maybe
year.
even. I mean, they may get ahead of schedule if they get some good weather or something, but it's going to be closed for the foreseeable future.
Well, think about how long was it with Katrina before we had even
Yeah, bridges.
I feel
Bridges,
like
it's a huge deal.
maybe it was the first restaurant. I don't know if it was the first business or whatever, but when Chili's opened up in D'Iberville,
Oh, yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
it was
Might
wrapped
as well
around.
have been like a
2 or 3 times.
5-star.
Yeah.
You would have thought.
yeah,
You would have
it's-
thought because it was the first, and that was a year or so later.
That was one thing I think I talked to, one of the guys that, was a pastor at one of the churches in Asheville. He's like, the problem is, we don't have any safe running water, and therefore, your restaurants can't operate.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's he goes, grocery stores, they have some dry goods and things like that, but they're not getting. I don't think they were getting a huge supply of milk and dairy products and things like
Right.
that they had to worry about staying cold and selling.
Well, that's when the MRE started kicking off. I was never in the
Oh,
military,
man.
but I have an MRE.
Some of those are pretty
experience.
tasty.
I didn't think they were bad.
Just eat the M&Ms.
There were some of them were pretty good.
Daniel's going 2 years in Afghanistan.
Look, stay 8.5 months of only eating and see what you think. Then.
Right, but I would say it's better than probably nothing.
Yeah, going, I'm good.
Yeah, so I do remember that. I was like, man, these some were like Joey said, some were better than others, but some of them were like,
Yeah.
pretty,
They're not bad. They're not.
all I had to do was rip a bag open and start eating. I'll take
That's
it.
right. Yeah, and we've done this for numerous years. We had a drive when Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Harvey
Yeah.
was like Cat 5, went in, closed over to Houston and kind of stalled out and
Yeah,
dumped all that rain on the Houston metro area. I mean, we had a 18-wheeler just slam full of goods, and we all went over there and delivered that. I know me and you and Donnie Handler.
what year would that have been? Do you remember?
Oh man, I don't remember which.
I don't
Oh shoot, that was I had to be
Somebody Google
9
it.
years
Google
ago.
knows everything.
Yeah.
Alexa.
Hey, right.
But we went down to that Cat 5 Laura came through Cameron, Louisiana. Man, we packed up the
That was
camper.
me, you, and
We
Don.
packed up the camper and went down there and stayed.
17.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we stayed in Cameron, Louisiana, with the Biloxi Fire Department, and we thought we were going to go down there and cook for a bunch of people. We got down there, had plenty of stuff to cook and everything, but the hurricane was so bad that people had nothing to come home to.
Right.
So there really wasn't a whole lot of. I think there were more people concentrated in the Lake Charles area, and then the most recent thing we went to Homa. Right?
Yeah, we did Homa.
Yeah.
Was that 2 or 3 years ago? We did
Yeah.
Homa. And,
That was a Cat 5 that went through there.
That was
Yeah.
that was the biggest experience when it came to this hurricane relief that really took a toll on me. Was, of course, I'm from Louisiana, but
Couldn't tell.
yeah, but we
I don't
went.
even
We
know
were
what they're
able.
talking about.
Yeah, we never know.
Yeah, we it was a really good setup, and Billy's been working really hard trying to do the same thing for the Asheville or surrounding counties. Was we hooked up with a church. We brought 2 big box trucks full of goods, And also we have enough guys and the same guys are going to go this time to where we was able to cook 1,200 hot meals that day. We hooked up with the Cajun Navy. We hooked up with this church and told them 2 weeks ahead of time, hey, we're coming. Go ahead and put it out there that we're coming. This is the location. We're going to have tons of goods. We're going to have hot food. And we did. And we served 1,200 hot meals.
Yeah.
And
That one brought back, that was flashbacks of Katrina. over
Yeah.
there.
It kind of started out slow that day, but like they put a sign out by the road.
and the next thing you know, we was balls to the wall for 6 hours.
But, you know, I mean, that's-
Well, you're not only cooking for the people that's there, linemen,
Workers.
anybody that's getting in there.
we cooked
First
a bunch of chicken and
first
we put it in the
responders.
trucks and brought it to the linemen.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
actually got in a couple trucks,
Yeah.
us two and Vernon and a couple of others
Yep.
got in trucks and went down the main road and was just handing them
Passing
out
out.
to
Yeah.
linemen. Every
So-
time we seen a lineman's truck, we would stop.
And honestly, those dudes, you know, they weren't living in great conditions either.
no,
Because,
it's just
I
like
mean,
their
they're trying to set poles in the
Yeah.
marsh, and I mean
Oh,
that's not exactly a glorious
Yeah.
job
That's
because
one,
there were no power poles standing.
that's one thing I remember after Katrina was the Meals on Wheels that
Yeah.
went around.
Yes.
just
Yeah.
handing
Yeah.
out with,
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did it. They would come to the neighborhoods and they would just, it was like an ice cream truck. You just run
Yep.
up there
Yeah.
and get
I
you
do
some,
remember
yeah,
that.
get
We
you some
would-
spaghetti and
I
go
was-
back in.
I was
Must have
helping.
forgot about Latimer.
Yeah.
Huh?
Y'all was too far out the way.
They ran out before they got
That's
to
when I was in Cedar Grove. They had to
Yeah.
take care of us
Well,
first.
I know
Jared
they had
and Joey
it
ate
in
it all.
Pinehurst.
Get it.
They had it in Pinehurst and what's that, St. Andrews area. Because
Yeah.
I was
Right.
helping a couple buddies back there clean their houses out. And exactly what it was. They were coming around with the
Little ice cream truck.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny, but it is
Yeah.
funny.
Heck, heck, I even went over to. Remember they had that tropical system that dumped all that rain north of Louisiana. Remember it flooded the what was that, the Amite River over there, and flooded all that over in the North Shore and everything. We even went over there for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Well, one of the things that I saw recently in the news that it always something to piss you off there, but it was like said that FEMA didn't have enough money to take care of this disaster. Did you see that? Is that blown out of proportion?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay. Because the director of FEMA, I think, is the one who made that quote.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it's a little bit of both. Appropriation of funds, but I work for the government, so
You
I
can
know
move
right,
that
right.
around.
you can move money from one contract to another or from one department to another if need be.
Right.
So there's money that they may not have money on hand, but there's always money
To be
in
had.
something else. They
Yeah.
can switch it around. Now, ground response, was it too damn slow? Yeah. it's
That
too
was,
damn-
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
whether they can move
Yeah.
money or not, if the ground
You know,
response wasn't
right.
there, that's
and it's
bullshit.
hard to, you know, I mean, it didn't appear to us that the response was
Right.
adequate or quick enough. But I mean, you know, it's hard to, if you're not on the ground,
Yeah.
it's just very difficult, in my opinion, to
really-
assess.
Mhm.
And of course, then if you're the one up there suffering, you can bet it wasn't quick enough.
Oh, yeah.
For me, would be in the United States of America, like all the shit we can do abroad. You would think that they'd have Blackhawks just
Well,
swarm
see,
that
that's-
area, chunking stuff out,
And Daniel
being
probably has
in
more to
control
add
of
to
Yeah,
that,
and
right?
that was kind of, you know, being prior military. I still work military contracts and whatnot.
What branch
I
were you in?
couldn't Marines.
Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't understand, and I still to this day don't understand. How can you not activate Fort Bragg? They have a whole fleet of helicopters
What's the
sitting
new
right
name?
there.
What's the new name? Didn't they change the name?
Yeah, I don't know. What the hell it is.
I don't either.
Look, man,
It pisses me off. I'm bringing it
See, I
up. It
didn't know
pisses
that.
me
It's
off.
still Fort Bragg.
Yeah, I know.
To
And
me,
everybody still calls it that, as you should.
I will always call it that because when I was in,
Right.
it was Fort Bragg.
Right.
So I really don't know what the hell it's called now. But
Yeah.
why do you not activate that? You have all the resources in the world sitting a few hundred miles. They can make that flight and with
10 minutes. Yeah.
with no issue. And you can't tell me, well, they didn't have a place to land. I seen these guys land on the corner of a damn dime
Right.
or on the side of a mountain. You don't think they can't land in this? I don't know.
I watched some of
Full
those
of it.
dudes after Katrina land those Chinook helicopters in places that were
Yeah.
sketchy.
So I
And
just
they're just such good. They're such good.
They land them on
pilots.
oil rigs
Amazing.
every day of the
I mean,
week.
they're,
they can do
amazing at what
anything
they're
want.
amazing at what they do.
yeah. I don't understand why that.
I don't know either.
You know what I mean?
I don't know enough details about it.
Yeah.
I haven't followed it that much
But
to really get into it.
I brought all that up to just blow off a little steam, but also to say that it is impressive to see the civilian response, like what you guys are doing,
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
Red Cross, and all what I feel like honestly should rely on, right? Like, don't rely too heavily on the federal government because they're just going to let you down. Seems like
Yeah.
every step of the way, but guys like you, organizations like this that are doing
Yeah.
the
Cajun
groundwork,
Navy,
right?
all that
In Cajun
stuff.
Navy,
Yeah.
American Red Cross, there's a bunch. I can't name them all, but that show up and do what needs to be done. It doesn't wait for somebody to make an order or something.
Yeah,
right?
I think I think deep down, I think Americans, have to help Americans,
correct.
and I think I think that's what's people lose sight of a lot of times. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
if you don't care take care of each other, that nobody nobody's going to take care of you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you look back at Katrina. The neighborhoods were supporting each other.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Joey said the Meals on Wheels, but I remember everybody dumping their freezers because you didn't have no
exactly.
power.
Yeah.
We had to
Fish fries and
Barbecue
Yeah.
grills lined up down the
for the
street.
first 2 or 3 days. You ate
Most
great.
most of us didn't eat bad the first two
Couple days, yeah.
I was stuck in the hospital.
Right. Well,
Look, I ain't never ate so much shrimp in one
That's
time.
what I'm
in my
saying.
life.
That's what I'm saying.
I started I was giving away redfish first. I wasn't giving away my speckled trout or anything. Oh man, yeah, I got you some redfish right here.
Yeah. Then
Reaching
after
for the top.
the propane runs
Yeah,
out, you can't
yeah,
fry nothing.
yeah,
Joey
yeah,
said I had to
yeah.
prioritize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna get them, but I ain't gonna
give you the best. Yeah, you ain't getting that ground mode and white.
Lord didn't say what I had.
The bottom dwellers.
That's right.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So Krewe of Neptune is a separate, whatever you want, entity from the Trident Foundation. Can you speak on the Trident Foundation, the difference between the Krewe of Neptune and the Trident Foundation?
The Trident Foundation is the nonprofit arm of the Krewe of Neptune.
Okay.
We are an actual 501c3 nonprofit. So, being part of Neptune gives us access to, almost, 500 plus people.
Mhm.
And, that contact just keeps spreading and spreading. So,
Yeah.
and, all I got to do is ask these guys and they're all in.
So for y'all, the Krewe of Neptune will take donations and run it up there, but also monetary donations can be run through the Trident Foundation, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And where would we do that? Is that on your website or how does that work?
It's posted out there on Neptune's webpage.
Yeah, they don't you have a Venmo?
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
Venmo,
Yeah.
PayPal. We also have an Amazon wish list running right now. If anybody, out there just wants to be able to click and go.
Right.
Which I got to add it to this guy, man. He has done a heck of a job with creating the Amazon wish list for
trying-
people. I mean,
Trying to make it
Awesome.
convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, great job.
I saw that link. How does that work? You explain that to me, please.
I went on Amazon and just created a wish list, hurricane relief.
Right.
And people can go on, click that link. You can see everything that's on there. Pretty much copied Cajun Navy's wish list.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And-
for people that don't understand what that means, think about it like this: that most people would understand. Wedding registries or baby shower registries for women.
Right.
The same concept that you would do. It's the same concept just through Amazon for this thing. And then what Larry did was, like he said, he took the Cajun Navy's wish list that they use
Mhm.
and kind of repurposed it into Amazon. Saying,
And when they order it, send it to
That's my
y'all.
question.
Where
Yes,
does it go?
It sends it to.
It sends it actually to my house. So, and then I get to ship it all.
Yeah.
I figured that the UPS guy knows my wife by name. He might as
Right,
well know
right,
me too.
right.
There you go.
So what does your house look like? Has it been a ton of stuff?
Just surrounded by
Yeah.
water cases all over the place.
Actually, the first order should be coming in tomorrow.
Don't call
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and that list is still active for people
Yes,
that want.
yes,
I wish
it
we had
is.
a link to it. I'd drop it in the
Yeah.
comments.
he can forward it to you. To put on
Okay.
that thing.
Okay, and we can add it later.
I bet that Amazon driver's going to be pissed.
Yeah, we've adjusted. I think we've adjusted Larry's adjusted it a little bit. Like we were
Yeah.
talking about. It's starting to turn colder.
Mhm.
Especially in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee, and the needs have shifted a little more from where they were at in the acute phase of the hurricane to where we're at now. People, their whole homes have washed down the river. They don't have a nice jacket to wear.
Right.
Like I talked to one of the guys on the ground this morning. I think it was 32, 34 degrees
Yeah,
there this
it
morning.
was chilly here, so I know it was chilly there.
It was really cold, and you can imagine being in that weather, not only without a roof over your head, but without any sleeves on your arms.
Right.
That's pretty disheartening.
So I'm guessing it started off as sanitary items. You got hand sanitizer, water bottles, and stuff, and all that still
bleach,
wanted-
cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, it appears like they probably have plenty of drinking water. I think most of your government organizations have come
provided,
through
yeah.
at this point on drinking water. But
So what are we focusing on now? The cold weather gear, blankets, and stuff like that.
newer blankets, jackets. I think a
bags.
sleeping
Does
bag.
y'all's list reflect that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I went back and updated it as I was getting. People are talking about we need warm weather or or stuff for cold weather.
Right.
You know,
That's right.
propane powered heaters,
Right.
sleeping bags, blankets, and things of that nature.
Okay.
That's right.
One of the questions I wanted to ask was about coordination, right? So y'all as the Trident Foundation decide, hey, we want to do this. Who do you call first? How do you reach? How do you make a contact there?
Logistically, that's been somewhat difficult.
Yeah, I would think, right?
Yeah, I kind of, I think some people think it's easy to do that, and unless you have somebody really close to you,
Mhm.
a friend or somebody, a direct family on the ground, it's very difficult. Like
Because of the infrastructure being down.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, and a friend
power,
of mine used to, he married a girl, and she actually grew up in Asheville. Went to Asheville High School, graduated from there. So I started with her. But now at this point, it's kind of shifted to where Asheville's probably in a little bit better shape than they were, obviously, in the acute phase of this.
Mhm.
And she put me in touch with a guy that was a retired fireman. I think his son is a fire chief there. So he had some contacts with there, and of course he put me in touch. He put me in touch with a local church.
Okay.
But and that guy from Trinity Baptist Church there in Asheville has helped me out a lot in terms of communication. But like I said, it seems like they're kind of pulling back now a little bit because things have gotten better around his surrounding community. But he'll be the first one to tell you, the counties to the north that were hit hard in the actual mountains. A lot of those counties are still suffering a lot. So logistically, it makes it kind of complicated without having boots on the ground.
Yeah, or personal contact.
Yeah,
like
you
that
gotta.
knew.
Nobody knows what's going on and what's needed, like the person that's there. kind of thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's kind of a common theme you hear throughout tragedies like this: fire departments, churches,
Correct.
neighborhood
People-
organizations, right?
People
that's why they're
gravitate
so
toward their
important.
faith and their church.
Yeah. That's why
That's
they're so
right.
important, though.
Absolutely.
Right.
And,
So,
yeah.
so we're doing drives, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I got an email at D'Iberville High School today saying that we're taking donations. Where are all those at?
So we have drives at most of the schools in the surrounding area have reached out and starting to do things. And then we as a crew are doing some drives too. And matter of fact, I just left there about an hour and a half ago. Fly Llama next Thursday night, we're going to have a drive there.
Okay.
They want to sponsor and do some and help us out with that. So
Great people.
I went by there before I came here, and that is locked in for next Thursday from 6 to 8:30.
Yeah, I mean,
there.
come up there, have you a seltzer, have you have you a beer or two.
Yeah.
And
Bring a
got
couple
to hit that
blankets.
food truck, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring a couple blankets, bring a couple. That's
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever, yeah,
Jackets, something like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Support Fly Llama, support support the Krewe of Neptune, the Trident Foundation. No brainer.
Did we lead with this though? When y'all are actually making the trip? What's the
Yeah,
dates
no, we
on
haven't.
that? So
The
we always
plan-
wait till the end to do
The
that.
plan
I don't know why we
tentatively,
did.
we're going to leave November 1st, which is on a Friday.
Okay, so this is the October the 16th as we record it. So that's what
That's
about
right.
2
Two
weeks?
weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
I mean, it could that change? I mean, it could change a little bit, but I think that's a pretty solid date.
Okay.
Unless we talk to somebody on the ground that tells us something different, of course.
Right.
But as of now, and then travel and then try to get up, the morning of the 2nd and provide as many meals that, they say we need.
Okay. Yeah, that's so that's 2 weeks, people, that if you're watching it now or
Yeah.
anytime in between there to get your stuff together and donate. We've already mentioned the Amazon list would probably be the easiest way. You can just do
Yeah,
that
just click it.
from your phone, you said Fly Llama, right? You
Yeah.
can go there and physically drop off whatever
Next-
you want
And
to do.
Yeah,
pretty
next-
much all the high schools or schools
so-
in general are taking them.
There's a couple of apartment complexes collecting. There's
Okay.
schools and whatnot, and it really you can reach out to any of us and even go to info at neptune.org as well and find out information. Just
Okay.
reach out to us by email on that too. Or we have event links and all kind of things on Facebook. You can reach
Okay.
out to us and ask us and be like, hey, look, I have such and such. Can y'all come by and get it? One of us will make our way
Yeah,
to
we'll-
you. We have
we'll
enough
figure it out.
guys that are helping us outside of us three
Yeah.
that can make a run to somewhere, schools or whatever the case may be, to pick it up.
I mean, the officers and board, of Neptune are always willing to go pick up something.
Is that event on y'all's Facebook page? I'm looking for it.
There's
I
a
think you
separate
made it on the
event.
Trident, didn't you?
Yeah,
I think he's under the Trident page.
Gotcha.
Tried it.
But also,
We've been
Like-
up at the Den.
right, we have a big link on Neptune's as well.
Yeah.
But we're also planning on something that we do well is doing the 1,000 to 1,200 meals. That's going to be
Right.
a big thing. And we really have been getting a lot of donations when it comes to that kind of stuff. Billy's been working with Butcher on Tucker on getting some meat provided for all of that
Yeah,
kind of
we
thing
know those
too.
guys. Good
Yeah.
guys.
So yeah, they are.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we the local community is really starting to step up when it comes to that kind of thing, and then we'll just go up there and do our
Yeah.
thing.
Well, tell us about that. What do we're taking trucks, trailers, cooking. What do we do?
Yeah, a couple people in the crew have have cooking trailers. A lot of these guys, I know at least one of them was down there doing the barbecue competition.
2 or 3
for the
of
Krewe of
them,
Neptune.
Yeah.
So they're quite used to doing this stuff. So I know one guy has an enclosed trailer that has an oven, so we can have our meat, smoked Boston butts or whatever. We can have those prepared for the most part, have them in pans, slide them in the oven, run generator power on the way up there, and keep our meat good and warm. That way, the next morning when we wake up, all we got to do is shred these Boston butts and make fresh pulled pork sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No doubt. And how does the donations work? Y'all just pull up to the church and be like, "This is what we got." Pass it out to whoever you feel.
Yeah, no. Like for instance, the one we did in Houma, and I would really like to do this again if we can ever get it to set up this way. They had almost like a circle drive, so they was able to get all of their goods that they needed as they drove in, saying, "Hey, I need diapers and wipes and feminine products, whatever the case may be." And as they're making that circle, we just say they would pull up in front of us and say, "How many meals do y'all need?" And they'd be like, "Hey, we got a family of 6," and we just hand them 6 to-go boxes.
Yeah.
And they would just make a circle, and as fast as they can come in and out, as the fastest we can get the food to them.
At the time, we just let the church handle the supplies.
Yeah.
We just dropped it off, and they dispensed it how they saw fit.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one. People do forget about moms with new babies. Moms with new babies and formula, diapers, wipes, baby bottles. Because it's not like they can sterilize baby bottles up there. They don't have no fresh water. I mean, you can boil water if you can get water.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's a lot
Got
of
firewood.
I noticed that when we were in Houma, like we had somebody donates a pallet of baby formula, and I mean
and that was the first thing to go.
people that have children. A
stuff's
pallet of
expensive and
a
hard to
pallet of baby
find.
formula. I mean, you think, that'll last forever? Not really.
No.
Yeah, but I'm saying, potted baby formula in Houma was without a doubt the first thing that
First
went.
thing
that went out.
That and diapers.
Two or three moms. That's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What worse of a feeling could you imagine than being in the middle of something like
Yeah,
that,
you
not
can't
knowing
even-
if you
I
feed
can't
your baby,
even-
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even
imagine.
imagine that.
yeah. So that's
You're taking that
Yeah.
too. You're taking those supplies too as
Yes.
well, right?
Oh, yeah,
Any
absolutely.
baby stuff
So
like
yeah, I
that.
mean, like diapers, wipes, baby
Formulas.
bottle, and of course, baby formula. I think you can
But
buy powdered, or you can buy the stuff that's obviously already pre-mixed.
Yeah.
Any of that would be great because, like I said, it doesn't take but two or three moms with with a newborn or a
You're
young
out.
baby,
Yeah.
and that you need that much.
Yeah. Yeah. What about physical bodies, hands? Do y'all
Yeah.
need any more
Volunteers.
troops? Yeah, volunteers to go with y'all. Or do you feel like y'all got that covered?
I think at this point, I think we're going to be pretty solid.
Trailers, cooking
Yeah.
equipment, anything like that?
I think we have plenty of cooking equipment. It's going to be, it's the thing is like Billy was saying is the resources once we get there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't want to get on the ground and have, all right, we're prepared to do 12 to 1,500 meals. And then when we get there and there's only 200 people there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? It's that coordination that's the
So the
difficult part.
logistics part of it.
The logistics
right?
part, and I think we got a pretty good grasp on, there was obviously counties that were hit much harder than others.
Yeah.
Right.
And, towns, that were basically completely gone. And I think, those are the towns at this point in the game that we're going to have to focus on and get in touch with those, emergency management people, and I think what was it? Yancey County, was one of them. I talked to one of the directors today from Madison County. He said they were doing much, today they were doing much better.
Right.
But he said, our neighboring counties, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure once you get up there, they can direct you where you need to be physically.
Yeah, we'll
right?
have a good direction before we leave here.
Okay.
I have a call out to the Yancey County Emergency Management. I talked to her secretary today, and of course, she was like, she's in and out all day long. It's a busy situation, and she goes, quite honestly, it's a mess. It's a mess up here.
I bet.
Which obviously we can see that, but I know on the ground it's going to be much worse.
Yeah. So it sounds like the Amazon thing is the way to go, unless you want to do a nominational donation, and you can go right there, or just go to a high school and bring. I mean, tents, anything
anything
out
at
there.
this point, man.
Are y'all taking cash donations too?
Yeah.
Is there a way to do that?
We can. I mean, we've had some, we've had some local businesses step up and go, hey man, come by here so we can we can
Write
write
you
you
a
a check. Of course, they make their check to the Trident Foundation,
Right.
and then of course Larry or one of the board members of the Trident Foundation can provide those companies or businesses with a 501c3
Tax write-offs.
receipt for
Right.
tax
Yeah.
write-offs, of course.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Larry did drop the looks like the Amazon link, and then the Facebook event is
Yeah,
in the comments below.
Correct. That's the event for Fly Llama next Thursday.
Okay.
night.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
And
cool.
what's the cutoff on donations? You're leaving the first, so what are y'all going to cut
I would
it off?
probably
The
say that
Thursday before, the Tuesday or Thursday.
I'd probably
before.
say the Tuesday before.
Yeah.
I think Thursday night we'll be up there basically
it all.
packing stuff
Yeah.
because
Right.
and when we've kind of started that now, we have pallets laid out in the den and we're kind of organizing things, baby wipes and diapers, cleaning products, hygiene items. If somebody needs, some toothpaste and a toothbrush, I don't want to have to dig through boxes. I want to know exactly what's in.
Right.
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 So we're kind of separating them out, batteries, bleach buckets, gloves, just a variety of things.
Yeah, I like it. Also, I linked. There's, if you see it, there's a Facebook where I dropped there a link to. I think it was the list y'all had where y'all going to be. It was on the Neptune.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah,
page.
like last night we were us three. We were at the den from 6:30 to 8:30 last night. If somebody was had
drop off times. and
drop off
locations.
times.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
That's
of course,
what it was.
that'll change a little bit
Yes,
next Thursday because we'll be at the Fly Llama.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be at the Fly Llama instead. The Fly Llama has been gracious enough to host us, so we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And we were at Yule's place.
I was
last
looking at that.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That really
Big
turned
Yule-
out nice.
Big
Yeah.
Yule's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude is always willing to help. He went to Houma, Louisiana with us that day.
And he's actually going on this trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
And
doing
he,
all-
and good cook too. Huh?
Oh, he
yeah.
can cook- he can cook
Dude
his ass
knows what
off.
he's doing.
But he told us when we were there last week, I want in, I'm coming. So he's
Sweet.
going.
Yeah, he's
He's
a
gonna be one of the trailers coming with us.
Yeah.
So, what about personally for the three of you guys? What is it to take time? I mean, it's
Yeah.
a
You
weekend
taking time
trip, you
off
take it-
work.
Yeah,
doing all that
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to work for Memorial Hospital, and I can adjust my schedule pretty much accordingly. It's usually not a huge deal. Got a good office manager and all that. So we just shift schedules around a little bit to make time for it.
I love it.
And it's the same thing with me. I work for CACI, which is one of the biggest governmental firms, contracting firms there is, and I let them know ahead of time. They've actually made a couple donations as well to
Right.
the cause
Sweet.
already, and they told me, we can flex the time. However, we got to do it. We do it.
Yeah.
They're all about supporting the local community. We actually have a lady that lived in the Asheville area that had to be evacuated. She lost her home. That works for the company, so
So it hit
they're
close
well
to home.
aware. They're
Hit
well
close to
aware of what's
home.
coming.
Yeah.
They even have a few of the local people from the Myrtle Beach area and a couple other areas in that North Carolina, South Carolina bordering area that are willing to come meet us once we have a set plan.
Mhm.
They said, "Hey, we'll come help cook or hand out goods, whatever the case may be. Just let us know." So there's people looking within my company to come help as well.
I love it.
I think a lot of businesses, are willing to,
Absolutely.
bend a little bit for people that are going to go help. I mean, look
For
at all the
sure.
Oh, yeah.
look at all the businesses that are willing to step up to assist you in doing in your mission to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Butcher on Tucker, Big Yule, obviously the Fly Llama, Furlan's Marine. I mean, you have all these businesses that are stepping out of their way to help the Krewe of Neptune and the Trident Foundation to make this happen.
Mhm.
And I think that speaks volumes to where we live on the coast.
Yeah, exactly. Like
What y'all's team look like from the Krewe of Neptune? How many y'all taking up there from 5, 6?
Oh, it's gonna be
People,
more than that.
Yeah.
It'll be
we'll
more than
probably,
that.
I'll bet
Yeah.
probably be at least 20 of us.
It'd be
Really?
be 20 to 25 for
We're rolling
sure.
in
Yeah.
heavy.
I mean, we went to Houma. It was 28 of us went to Houma. So, and it's a little bit longer stretch. It ain't just a 1 day turnaround
Yeah.
thing, but
What are y'all thinking? How long?
it's about 8.5, 9 hours there.
No, I mean, how long you think you're going to be there?
Probably 3 days.
Yeah, at
Like
least
3 days.
At
Is
least
that Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, or
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Probably
Friday, Saturday,
probably Friday, Saturday. So probably drive back
Where are
on
y'all
Sunday.
going to stay? Do y'all have, is there?
I guess I'll be sleeping in the back of the truck.
That's what I'm about to ask. I mean,
the weather's going to be perfect. I mean,
yeah, just sleep outside, huh?
Well,
Hey.
everybody else may be sleeping under the stars. Might as well.
He was in
just,
the Marines. He's probably slept.
Yeah.
Largely
Look,
dead.
Daniel said he ain't sleeping in no tent.
Look, let me tell you. When in 2004, when I got out, I promised myself I'll never sleep in a tent again.
Ever.
I have not slept in a tent since
Hey,
then.
if he's in a tent, I'm taking a picture.
Yeah.
of y'all.
Hey, it might be changing in about
look,
14 days.
But look, it's starting to sound like I'm just going to be in the back of that F-450 taking a nap. So it'd be all right.
Yeah.
I'll live. I mean, I'm not worried about it.
It's
I don't
killed
know. We
it.
made dry camper up there. I hadn't really.
That is, it is
come to the
awesome that y'all are
conclusion.
taking the time
Yeah.
out of y'all's personal life to go up there and help that for sure.
You know, on another note, it's a really bad situation to have to go and do this, but it's something that, we may be faced with the same situation.
100%.
It may not be
man.
this year, may not be next year, but
It's coming.
It'll be.
Not yet, but it's when.
But you really get a lot of a lot of emotions when you see these people come up and they get food, and it's well worth it. It really and truly is.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and they're definitely in need. They're
Oh,
yeah.
we led with that. I mean, we know what it's like, and it's not a good time. So to see
That's
y'all's
right.
faces show up there, smiling and handing out good food, you know what I mean?
Oh,
For people
yeah.
that know what they're
I don't
doing,
think you
they're
have
like,
to worry about it being
everything
bad
else.
food.
Yeah, everything
Sure.
else sucks, but man, this plate of food is really good.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been eating MREs for 5 weeks. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It was hot. Now it's cold.
Yeah.
We got no power, but this food is kicking.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I think we touched on everything. Is there anything we're leaving out that we can direct people? Like I say,
Yeah.
I would.
Anybody we left off sponsor wise that's donating or
I mean,
any of that
I
stuff?
know. We're at Crooked Letter CrossFit, 3 to 5 days a week. We've had members of Crooked Letter just, come up to you in the gym and say, hey, I left some stuff at the door for you,
Yeah.
but, on the way out, if you don't mind, grab. And I said, yeah, just leave it there. I'll bring it to the den tonight. I'm leaving here, going straight there. SADS Healthcare,
Yeah.
Miss Dorothy Dunning is fantastic. Her staff, they have a bunch of supplies there, waiting on us. Bucks Paper Company. Got to mention them.
Yep. There's so many I can't even think of.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like
good.
I said,
I'm glad-
it's really,
Yeah, we
you
need
stop and
more.
think
We
about
need
it.
more.
Yeah, yeah.
You stop and
We need
think
more.
about it. It's really a testament to where we live and
Mhm.
how people take it personally.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because we know, like I say, it could be us on the next go round.
What goes
So
around comes around.
That's
man.
right.
right.
Well, gentlemen, thank y'all for doing what
Yeah,
you're doing
appreciate it.
and taking the time out even tonight to come over here and talk about it. It's a call to arms, man. If you're listening to this, if you're watching on the live, the replay, if you're
Do
the
it.
podcast, man, please, if you can, I know times are tough for a lot of people right now too, just in normal life. But donate.
10, 15, $20.
Yeah,
It
whatever
adds
you can
up.
do, whatever you can do, and let's
Absolutely.
show them what South Mississippi Gulf Coast can do to help out. Right. So
That's right.
the links are in the comments below. We'll have links to the Facebook pages or whatever, and then go to one of the live drop off places and help them out. So,
That's right.
gentlemen, y'all have a great evening, and let us know if there's anything else you need from us because we
Yep.
can definitely.
And
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
y'all doing it.
Joey, Jerry, appreciate y'all having me.
It's-
Appreciate
it's
it.
absolutely.